So you guys should be able to see me in there. So red, orange, and yellow guy. So by the way, this is a FLIR thermal imaging camera. This is not a phone app you guys are going to be able to go home and download. So a lot of people like to ask me that. I like to point that out first and foremost. But me being the red, orange, and yellow guy, this might work out because it's like 50-50 among you guys. I'm the hottest thing inside the frame right now. So the guys aren't looking like they're beating me up tonight. That's cool. But I point that out on purpose because we're looking for those cold spots, like Lexi said, that are going to be blue or black. I want them to either move or to take shape. When I say take shape, I want a head, shoulders, moving arms and legs. That's what we've caught with this guy in the past. That's what hopefully we'll capture with him again. I always love to give you guys stats on what these devices are capable of doing. I am not a TV show host. I get about 4 or 5 things I will put my stamp of approval on per year, not per episode. You guys getting my point? So if we're not recording, we're not going to capture. So Mike, we will record once we're inside of a space, and we'll keep it running for the entire duration while we're in there. I'll give you the cues for the starts and stop. In the events that I see somebody coming through and you guys are missing them and you're pointing your camera right at them, I'll be like, Lexi, put your camera down. We got people coming by. But anyway, this place used to be the Charles and Eliza Pinckney Mansion site. So their mansion sat in the front of this space facing East Bay Street. Eliza's garden was lined up with Five Church Restaurant behind you guys, over there to your left, and came all the way across, and we are standing in the servant and slave quarters for the home. That's the layout of the land. So who the hell were these people? Charles and Eliza had a son named Charles. They had a nephew named Charles. That's 3 Chucks, in case you weren't paying attention. That's why we look for those secondary clues. In the event that Matt hears the name Charles, I need to know which one it is so I know how to address them. You guys getting the point on this, I hope. Everybody had the same damn names back in the 1700s and 1800s. Now, back to the son and the nephew. They were signers of the Constitution for South Carolina. That's a big deal for South Carolina, but I hate politics more than all of you combined. If I don't give the gentlemen their recognition for signing the Constitution, they will do it for me in a nasty manner coming out of a spirit box. So I just make sure I give them the recognition, we move on. We're going to talk about Eliza. She has a much better history anyway. Eliza married Charles at a young age according to today's standards. I say it slowly like that because if you're going to ask her how old she was when she got married, do not expect numbers from the colonial days that she came from when girls got married at 12 and 14. Think of today's standards because the husband was over double her age. So it's creepy age gap then, creepy age gap now. Just giving you guys a little bit of a heads up. Now, John's laughing at me like, yeah, that's kind of a creepy age gap. But anyway, moving on. She married him because her father was over in England, where her family's from. And Dad thinks he's dying over there in England. He's trying to bring all of his children home one last time. Eliza didn't believe he was dying, so she stayed put right here and got married. Well, it's 1744 at this time, and you don't get married back then to earn a green card. We're not a country yet, so it's not a thing. This is a true love story. Believe it or not, there's nothing horrific that goes on here. It's just haunted as hell. Moving on. She was correct. Dad did not die right away, and instead he starts sending her gifts from England to where you're standing. One of those gifts happened to be the plant seeds of indigo. Indigo is a plant that makes blue dye, that makes blue jeans blue. Not one person is wearing it tonight. Awesome. Like, yeah, those aren't blue, are they? I can't see.
No. I had to check.
I did too. So, but anyway, that's how we use it today. But when Eliza got her indigo seeds, she didn't know what to do with them. She had to learn from her servants and slaves how to keep it going. It's not always this type of weather here, believe it or not. And then she learned how to make the dye, got a hold of her dad overseas, and told him that the rice plantations were going downhill, and they were going to make a killing with the indigo. So now we have an international businesswoman during colonial times, something absolutely unheard of. Now, that's the weird, boring stuff of Eliza. Let's get into the really weird stuff, because that's why you guys are here. Lexi, go ahead and lower your camera for me. So, oh, by the way, you're not on record yet.
No.
Oh, I was going to say, you can hit that record button while we're in here. So, back to what's going to happen here is I'm going to go through every type of communication device that we actually have. What is happening right now? This is like a whole train of cars coming in, and I was hoping the whole train was going to be leaving. Okay, nice.
You're talking about.
Good. Now that's your baseline. Don't give me anything below that. I'll explain the EMF as we're going to be probably waiting a little bit just for these 2 cars to leave anyway. So you had a 7.5, that's good. So, communication devices, I'm going to assign you focus questions. I want you to keep in mind we do have 3 cameras running, my voice recorder, and all of the other communication devices. If Sarah's asking a question, Matt might get the answer. You never know. That's where this is going. By the way, it is drizzling pretty hard. So in the event that it gets any worse than this, and I'm going to take a look at the weather as soon as we separate, yeah, I'll kind of see where we're at with things, but I was not expecting this at all. It was like a 10% chance of rain, which usually means nothing. This is probably just hopefully going to pass by quickly because it's some blue skies. So we'll kind of see how it goes. Focus questions. Your device gives us 1 to 2 syllable answers at a time. Okay. So your questions are going to be wrapped around the mansion. Very simple.
Are
Ready?
you listening yet, buddy?
Oh, I don't want him listening just yet.
Okay.
So your two questions: what happens in the mansion? It's not here anymore. And then if you get the what, we often get when that happened, so the exact date, and that can come out of any device. So your main question is going to be what happened to the mansion.
Ooh.
Yes, you'll ask it over and over again. Now you can ask these questions.
Oh,
What do you got?
I
She
got
got gone.
It says gone.
Did it just come up?
Yes.
Yeah, the
Okay, so again, it's vague. I like where you're going with the conversational piece, but I want that specific answer for that solidarity of like, hey, this was evidence. So hopefully we're gonna get it. So again, nice and easy. No. Sarah? Sarah and Matt? Yeah, we're really getting wet. We should probably see.
Oh my
All right, we're gonna
God.
go back to where, like that lot over there, there's a little bit of a shelter over that way that we can take that.
Could you please
maybe pull it out, bro.
What's that?
Maybe get it out so we don't. Watch.
Here, take this, Michael.
Okay.
But as far as your camera, if I'm not following up with it like all the time, it's because it's so small. I will ask you from time to time, like, hey, where are we at with the word list? And the way you get to it is you just tap the little button on the right of the word, and then you'll be able to see everything we've had so far. The newest
okay.
stuff goes towards the top. I usually ask for the last 4 or 5 terms just so I can keep tallies on it. And then top right will take you back to your main screen.
Oh, okay, great.
Somebody's asking about the age right now, so hopefully somebody gets that number.
Oh,
Very specific number. Just kind of see where yours is like a catch-all.
Okay, yeah, that's pretty cool.
So I love that thing. I've been using that
That's
app for like
interesting,
6 years, and it is the biggest word bank that I have found. So
I never heard of that. You know, he's into the ghost thing, you know, but like I've never seen this.
what this does is it's listening to the radio the same way the other 3 are. It's just doing it for us manually. If it recognizes a term out of its 9100 word dictionary, it goes on the screen. So that's part of the reason why I use it. Is because A, it's using radio like the other spirit boxes. Pretty vague stuff.
Okay.
So again, I like those very specific names, numbers, factual things I can prove. I like the word age only because that means somebody probably has the number that popped up on their spirit box. They may have missed it, but you might get it as well.
All right, great.
You never know.
Okay,
That's the
great.
fun part. So I never know what the hell's going to happen out there.
Yeah. Let's see.
Oh, it says aunt.
Aunt in which way?
Like aunt and uncle.
Okay. Oh yeah, sorry, you guys are from the north, so yeah, you would say aunt like me. Down here, they say aunt.
Aunt.
Oh,
Yeah.
aunt. Okay.
It's all British.
Man, this rain's gonna get on my nerves.
Now,
No,
Mister.
Let's see.
It's coming through quite a bit.
All right, let's see. Let's stand right in the middle. Let's see. Let's see. Let's stand. Let's see. Oh, you gotta stay. Come on, where you going?
Oh, I'm staying with you.
Wait.
Oh, yeah.
Unless you don't want to.
No, I didn't know we were spreading out.
Let's see. Let's ask you something.
Do we ask
Who
some?
was the presidential pallbearer at your funeral?
What was the president's name at your funeral? Is it listening to us then?
Well, it's supposed to be around, so it might pick up.
Oh,
It might channel.
channel in. Are you getting anything on yours?
It's kind of hard to tell, especially like outside. It'd be more like inside. I don't know. I never used this before, so.
It's cool that you're using it, right?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, we always want that.
Seek.
Are you seeking to?
Seek the
What are you
ghost.
seeking?
Tell us what you are seeking. Are you supposed to see something in yours?
I could. It's not really related. Watch out on this big puddle. Oh, you don't have to tell them every word.
Okay.
Alright, the rain stopped now. hold on to it.
Hold on to it if you want to wrap it up. Wrap it, but hold on. Exercise.
Collapse.
No, it just said exercise, not exercise like exorcist. Exercise.
Oh.
Ooh.
What collapsed? Do you need an exorcism?
Tell us, do you need an exorcism? Ooh, that's kind of weird, huh? Did the house collapse? First.
What happened first?
What happened first? Oh, that's okay. What happened first? It's getting something. Yeah, and it came right away.
I got 34.
I just like to let you guys know what the hell you're looking at. So once you guys see how like all of this starts to tie together, that's where like you're all collecting puzzle pieces right now. So when you guys have something, they have something, so forth and so on, it all comes together. Let me follow up with Patty, see what she's got. You seen anything
She
weird?
got exercise on her.
Like an exorcism?
Yeah.
No, all of a sudden this came out of nowhere and in a few seconds later collapsed. Some wondered one of these two or one right after another.
Again, this thing is gonna still has some spooky terms in there, like exercise and DNA and that kind of like how. Look at that big game. Weren't we just near Big John's?
Oh, yeah.
There you go. I
Look,
like that
big
too.
game.
And it was right next to each other.
Yeah.
So one right after another with that too.
30. I wrote it down. I heard
I
it.
got 44.
44.
I don't know. I'm just hearing like numbers.
you're focused on it now.
And first is a good sign too.
Yeah.
It's now I'm gonna be back.
Freeze, I don't know. So again, this is only about 20% accurate. So you're gonna get probably about 100 terms total, and we might get like 15 to 20 of them that are gonna stick to what's going on with the other.
Okay.
pieces. So again, that's why I like to really get the nitty-gritty like details.
Details with it.
Right.
Put the
Do I like the
together
big game?
with that.
I do. We were talking about Big John,
Yeah.
a football player, so that to me is a pretty good tie.
That's wild.
So
Don't. Are you getting anything, Michael? Is he getting
I don't
anything?
think so.
with this one, I already told him like I wait for the video afterwards because the camera's so
Yeah, it's
small.
tough to
Oh,
see.
and it'll
So-
show up
Right.
maybe later.
Because I send it to YouTube so you guys can watch it on your TV. I watch it on a computer.
Oh, okay.
Any
So-
screen, any bigger
And
screen
much
is
bigger
better.
screen
Yeah.
on a cell phone.
9 children. She just had 9 children.
I think I'm just making stuff up.
If you heard it, you heard it, baby.
Yeah, exactly. You heard it, you heard it. That's exactly how you should look at it. So don't wait for something like a direct answer to something. It's just going to be random breadcrumbs.
Okay.
She might be telling you what you want you to know.
Exactly. I love it.
Big game.
Huh? Big game. That's pretty cool. And it was
Let's
one
see,
right
pull that
after.
up.
It was one right after another. Big game. Big game. That's good. And then he like first.
Oh, look at that rooftop.
I would have loved to come to a rooftop. Just here, we didn't put one. They say when you're up on that rooftop, you can see like where the church shows the water.
Oh, that's cool.
I mean, that's nice.
It'll probably just be getting busy when we're out. Yeah.
I just heard you become distorted, and it sounded super distorted as I heard it. You become distorted.
Definitely missing some things in real time. So I think we're going to head back to the corner, kind of like instruct, give you guys the answers and show you how this piece is together. So I think we're getting the gist of all of the spirit boxes and how they work.
This kid's sitting here telling me she's got possessed doll. My lands. Hope y'all have a good ghost story.
I hear that. I hear that.
Oh wait, they have stuff.
Camera's nice and low, trying to get an angle going down the alley. So this is how we're going to be the entire time we're here. Even with yours, Mike, if you wanted to like switch sides and try to
Yeah,
get your shot here, I love when people do that with that one. That's exactly what they do. So talk to me. What have we heard along the way? AJ, we'll start off with you.
I didn't really hear much.
Okay, nothing coming out of it at all. Okay, Matt.
Nothing.
I know we were chit chatting.
Yeah, nothing yet.
Okay, Sarah.
I got 2000.
Okay,
I got London.
okay.
And
Where'd you get London at?
it said, it was like the commercials like in London, and then I heard international. Where were you?
Yeah, but
Oh,
Were you closer to here or the parking lot?
Maybe like midway.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. Anything else?
And I got like to take care of. That's all I got. I was just trying to remember everything.
The last 10 seconds I've got like 4 different sirens. I don't know what that's about.
Oh, I got like that, like what's it called?
It's
Oh, I
like
don't
an
like it. Yes, I don't
emergency
like it.
siren,
The reason I stopped you on London, that is my daughter's name.
Oh.
And when she's down here, she's usually on the floor. So if you heard like a where is she or any other phrase like that, and then you had the name London, you're probably wondering where she's at because it's the weekend.
Oh. Creepy.
Wow.
Patty, what you got? Last 4 terms.
List for market,
We just passed through the market.
gain, volunteer, simple, punish,
That's it.
addition.
Because then that was the parking lot.
Oh, we're still back to the lot at that point?
Punish was parking lot.
Okay. Alright, so the London bit, we're going to see if there's anything that's going to tie into that for me on a personal level. So we're just going to kind of see what happens there. So with this location, we're going to, by the way, we have the whole place for ourselves. Wow, super awesome. This is Philadelphia Alley. This used to be called Jeweler's Alley, which is why we're here. Every ghost store comes down here, it's a staple. So we're going to keep AJ on mute on this one, and then as we go up and around the corner, we're going to be testing out John's camera very specifically because he'll be the focus on that over there. So very specific location of what goes on at that location. But this one, all the tours come here because we all tell the same damn story because we can prove what happened. However, I'm going to tell you the same story but with a few extra details because we're ghost hunting, right? So here's how the story goes. A doctor moved down here from Rhode Island. His name is Dr. Joseph Brown Ladd. In the event that the 2 Spirit Box listeners hear the song Brown Eyed Girl while we're here, it's not coincidence. We get it all the time because it's part of his name. Now anyway, Dr. Ladd moves down here because he is supposed to get married to his fiancée Amanda. Amanda just inherited a lot of money from her dead parents. She has an attorney helping her out with all of his cash flow. The attorney thinks that Dr. Ladd is just after Amanda's money. So he tells Amanda to get rid of the doctor. Get him out of here. Dr. Ladd moves here to Charleston. Heard that he's not just after her cash. And on his way into town, he had a coachman that set him up to be robbed and killed. It's not a very good start to his stay here in Charleston. Somebody was walking by and knew the coachman and what his intentions were, and the person walking by was named Ralph Isaacs. I say his name slowly because he has the same initials as where the doctor came from, Rhode Island. We were getting the letters RI on the regular spirit boxes all the time, so I bought a new device. It's called an Envoy. We're not using it tonight, but it's basically a digital Ouija board. Whenever I brought up Ralph's name, and we've had it about 7 times in the past year, we get the letters RI consecutively. I wanted to know what is it referencing, back to the Rhode Island or Ralph? It's definitely Ralph every time. Back to Ralph. He tells Doc, I know this guy, the coachman. He's going to try to kill you. He's like, why don't you come with me to 59 Church Street? You can rent a room from these friends of mine, and you'll be safe. Good to go. Doc took him up on the offer, and the 2 gentlemen became friends. The longer the doctor stays here, the more money he's making. Proving his point. Not after Amanda's cash. Making his own. Doing well. She gets wind of this. She's moving down from Rhode Island so they could be married. Dr. Ladd then became known as the Whistling Doctor because he whistled all the time. And yes, it's the 1780s. Men whistled all the time. This is why I hate the damn story. Every haunted city you will ever visit is going to have a cliched whistling ghost. We all have one. Ours just happens to be a doctor. So why are we in Jeweler's Alley for this whole scenario? Let's get into that. Dr. Ladd and Ralph go see plays together. They can't sit next to each other because the doc makes more money. That's the hierarchy of Charleston. He gets better seats. So, on the way home from seeing Richard III one night, they are arguing over the actress that they just saw. They've never been here before, and they were discussing it. The doc thought she was great. Ralph didn't. The argument turns into Ralph insulting the doctor's fiancée, Amanda, back home in Rhode Island, and he got really ugly. They went their separate ways. Now, Ralph has friends. He goes to his friends at the newspaper, and he tells them to place an ad for him, telling the whole city of Charleston what he thinks of the doctor. Kind of a, you're a disgrace to society kind of shit. Doc saw the ad, but rebutted with, let's go to Jeweler's Alley. Somebody's going to die. I want everybody to keep in mind that this argument started over an actress. Kind of a dumb thing. So the 2 gents, friends by the way, came down, back to back, took their 10 paces, they turned, Doc pointed his gun in the air. Shot his 1 shot from his flintlock. He didn't want to kill his friend. He just needed the courage to show up to the fight, which is often what happens at a duel, by the way. But Ralph has 1 bullet in his flintlock, puts it in the kneecap on the Doc. Doc didn't die, but Ralph proved his point. He's still pretty pissed off. He's gonna, not kill his friend, but not forgive either. Doc fell to the ground. His friends picked him up, took him home to 59 Church Street, where he died 10 days later after refusing medical treatment on November 2nd of 1786. I'm going to point out 2 things about that last statement. It's 1786. gunshot wounds back then, a lot different than what we know of them now. Secondly, he is a doctor. He probably just thought he had lead poisoning and tried to bleed it out himself, but obviously he failed. That's Remy, in case anybody was wondering. I've seen all the heads turn. We are in his house. If you don't know who Remy is? Watch a Disney movie. You'll get it. Now, so the doctor piece, every ghost story tells their guests to listen for the whistles while they're here. We have 3 cameras running plus my voice recorder. If we capture a disembodied whistle, more than likely it'll be on one of those 4 devices. However, 2 red spirit boxes, especially Sarah, you have the one that's recording right now, right? Yeah. So I can tell by the lanyard. So yours is green, that's red. Red means record. Sorry, little tactics with all of your devices, by the way. In the event that we have the whistling part of a song and then the word doctor immediately after, I can't tell you how many times I've actually heard that, not looking for it. It just happens while we're in here. I was going to take this location out of my route because it is a staple for all the other ghost stores. More than likely, if you've been a ghost store in Charleston, you've heard this story, so I was going to take it out just to have something new. But this guy follows me around for the rest of our entire evening. Based off the places that we're going are nearby places of raised emotion for him. So it's very interesting indeed, as you're going to see this guy. And again, this guy's story's been told for like the past 40 to 50 years. I'm the only one that ever communicates back. So you guys get the point of why he's trailing me and not necessarily hanging around for these groups of 20 to come down here and talk about the whistling ghost. So that's how this goes. If you're going to try this on your own and walk all the way through the alley, by the way, because I can't take you all the way through, I'm going to explain that. I've actually been kicked out of here. That's the fun part of the story. I'm going to get into it. Tracy's like, oh shit, what are you teaching these people? But just seeing the look on your face was like, oh my god. But anyway, use your voice recorders on your phones, but just remember, every local knows the story. Anybody walking up and down Queen or Cumberland, we all throw a whistle down this alley. It's just something we do here. So they're very easily debunkable. If you find a disembodied whistle, which I have some, it's very quick and faint, and it's not in a tune. It's very quick. So they're just subtle. Now, here's how I got kicked out of here. Here's the fun part. You guys ready? The alley didn't go all the way through the way we came in. There used to be a wall up there. Reason why, this used to be called Cow Alley. This is where they kept all the livestock for the city of Charleston. Cows, goats, and chickens are all down and through here. So why am I telling you this? The bricks down on the other side are older than the bricks we're standing on. Those bricks are sun-dried bricks from slave children. There's a full handprint from a slave child down there. So when you were telling me like punch symbol, I was kind of like, oh, where did you hear that from? That's where I was getting that from. But anyway, the handprint, and there's a couple of fingerprint swipes in other bricks if you really look around down there. But I used to take my group all the way through for a history lesson. Nothing paranormal. I already told you how I feel about cemeteries. That's the last place you're going to find the kid that made that handprint. You guys got the point, right? November 26th of 2020, I took my entire group of 10, about the same size as you guys, down there for a history lesson. I always tell the story ahead of time so we could just pass by, and I would just point at the brick as we walked on by. Well, they all stopped and huddled around the brick, waiting for something to happen. I try to shoot them along because we're also outside the dining room window of the beautiful mansion at the end of the alley. I'm just trying to be respectful, not realizing we were out of bounds for tours. I was still new at this. So, the new owner of that mansion, he came out screaming. My daughter, London, thought it was hysterical. She's cracking up. She's laughing on the ground. Her father's getting yelled at. She's all about it. The next day was Thanksgiving. I don't saw on Thanksgiving because I worked in upper management for Walmart before I started doing this. And you guys like to fight over towels on Thanksgiving. You scarred me for life. If you haven't seen like people at Walmart.com, go back and take a look at some fights over towels. It's a good time. Anyway, moving on. The next day was the 28th. I called my partner that brought me into tourism. I told him what happened, so I could figure out what to do next. And he tells me, dude, he's laughing, by the way, just like my daughter. And he said, you're only allowed to go down halfway. Otherwise, you got to reroute the group. He's like, you're sold out again tonight. Reroute your group. It's Black Friday. So what I told my group is, I don't believe in the next story because I'm into vampires, not pirates. The next story used to be a pirate story. But again, it's being monitored right now. So before we left the space, somebody with a spirit box heard the name Anne. I told them which pirate we were going to be diving into. The female pirate, Anne Bonny. I was like, okay. Definitely wasn't looking for that, were you? So we're going to let these folks pass through. A little bit of a commercial break. How you doing, guys?
Good, how are you?
You good? Love it. So, again, got the name Anne, but somebody else heard the number 300. I didn't know what it meant. I wrote it down. I did the research for them. We were there November 28th of 2020. Anne Bonny's trial for piracy was November 28th of 1720, the exact 300th anniversary of her pirate trial. Yeah, I was actually kind of pissed off. Here's why. Master's degree in creative writing. That means anything I do, especially anything dealing with ghosts, has to be factual. Pirate stories come from pirate lore. That's a problem for me. Pirate lore was written 100 years after the Golden Age of piracy. How you doing, guys? Anytime somebody found something when I was taking people up there, and again, this is how I learn about it. I just keep repeating it until it's a nice, big, extravagant story for a year or two, and then I retire and move on. But the pirate story, I had to read more books to kind of validate what was going on. And I've read more books on pirates documentaries, plays video games, you got the point. I was actually quite ticked off. I'm even more ticked off now. I can't tell the story anymore. Because again, it was this nice big space where we were able to spread out, but they're monitoring that space where I used to spread it all out. So we are going to be going up around the corner. We're going to use that camera as a focus when we get up there. It is a popular spot as well. We may have to wait our turns depending on how many other tours are up there, so I may give you the story ahead of time first. AJ, I'll definitely want you listening up and around the corner when we get there. And again, other cameras, if you want to record as we exit and go around the corner, you can if you want to. But again, it's not necessary. I will need all 3 cameras focused on John's, or the same focus, but John's will be definitely the one. That sign reads, "There's no ghost here but the Holy Ghost." The reason why is they don't want jerks like me with all of these crazy cameras trying to recreate what happened. So here's what happened. 1888, a young lady passed away by the name of Sue Howard Hardy. Anybody want to tell me what her initials are? Sue Howard Hardy. What's it spell out? Very cheesy, very campy, but we've seen it and we've heard it. On my little Ouija board device, we've had the initials come up and we've had it show up on Patty's word list before. So just take it for what it's worth at this location. Now she dies 6 days after her stillborn child. Okay, so that's a very sad story, and yes, I'm telling you about another dead baby. There's going to be one more tonight, I'm sorry. However, 1987, 99 years later, on the exact day of her death, June 16th, we have a local photographer taking pictures of all of our beautiful cemeteries, and he captures a full apparition in one of his pictures. What's 1987? He doesn't have the technology that we have now, so he sends it off to Kodak. So Kodak can confirm the camera that it is, that he said it was, and that nothing was altered on this photo. So the picture is said to be cursed to females. Females that handle it in a digital format, even in a physical printed out format, are said to get headaches, nausea, dizziness. So the same symptoms we talked about at the beginning of our night. Pregnant females are said to not have a good pregnancy. I'm going to show the picture, but I'm going to ask to not touch my tablet. I'm not going to be the guy where there's a honeymoon going on or something and 9 months later I curse your family. So again, in the events that we have evidence from this, and by the way, in your report, you will have links to be able to verify all of these things that I'm telling you that I'm going to label as evidence. So you're going to have a lot of homework to do. In the event we have something from Sue to where I can verify that it came from her, it'll say safe link, so that way the females aren't accidentally holding it on their phone and trying to click the link. Okay, so if you want to look up that picture on your own, I'm going to show it to you now. But again, just try not to handle it on your phones in the event you want to go Google it later. And the other tours, they all stop here. This is usually their last finale. So they all come up here because this is their show and tell. So here's your picture, by the way. Your apparition is right here. You're looking at a woman praying over her own grave, and the baby basket is right next to it. Remember what I told you about baby George? This could have been another theory because I could not find records for the child, for the stillborn baby. So your full picture is right here. Now normally if you type in top 100 best apparitions ever caught, this usually falls in the top 100, which is why every ghost tour comes up here. This is kind of their big finale show and tell. Now her grave, for you, those of you with cameras, if you look at the cross headstone in the background up there in the distance, we were actually closer to her from the alleyway. Her grave is just to the left of that, on the other side of that like rounded headstone. So it's one more row, like even towards the back. That's where this picture was taken, was from the back. So
It's not the cross, it's the one next to it.
the one next to it's to the left of it, and one more back. I used the cross one because it's the most referenceable. But with this said, this happened on June 16th. So what was June 16th of this year? Does anybody remember? Just last week was it was Father's Day. So I don't work on Father's Day. I'm a dad. So the night of the 15th, I finished up their data, and I decided afterwards I'm going to come down here because now it's the 16th. It's about 3 o'clock in the morning. I have John's camera, hook it right in the gate, and I hear this. Hey. Jingling of keys, and then the word hey. I only had a minute. I mean, I don't think Sue Howard Hardy from 1888 is going to say the word hey, but you guys are getting the point. I was trying not to overstep my bounds. Again, I do run a business. I don't need tickets and violations against my business. I do what I do out here.
What church is this?
This is St. Philip's. So this is our tallest steeple. So just fun fact for everybody here, no building in Charleston can be taller than this steeple. That's the rule of thumb.
Wow.
Just to keep our skyline. That's why we're called the Holy City.
Wow.
The light to your left, by the way, you guys all see that big bright light there off to the left? The church put that in there to try to deter us from getting light flares on pictures and regular cameras. But the paranormal cameras that you guys are using can cut right through that thing. That's why I love John's camera for this experiment, because if we have movement, it's not going to be a light flare. So there's a lot of little debunking pieces I can get. I don't have anything yet from this cemetery. This was the story I wasn't telling, while I would do the pirate story instead across the street. But you guys already know that that one's off limits for me right now. Anybody hearing anything, by the way? Sarah, Matt?
Like $3.99 was the price.
Her 99.
$3.99.
99 years after her death was the first picture that was captured. So $3.99, I would count that as we have a slight relevance.
I heard a hotel about 5 minutes ago.
Just the word hotel.
There's a cat over there.
There's Jackie.
Where?
That's
Right
Jackie.
under.
I want the cat. Aren't black cats are not unlucky. That's not true.
I love black cats.
I like cats.
So we're gonna get another minute or two of footage because that tour over there to our left is probably waiting on our spot. So, Mike, have you seen anything crazy come out of your camp?
No, nothing.
So what'll happen is once we get out of their way, I'll take us across the street and explain our last location, just because it is an experiment where it's completely different than what we've been doing, and it's gonna be kind of weird for some of you. I think I need to explain it. Alright, let's go ahead and put a stop to this cam. Again, I just try to stay out of their way. We're the weirdos. Let's go across the street and I'll explain what this experiment is.